Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Vatreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtike. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, Chapter 5, The Glories of Lord Nityananda Balram, text 15 onwards. Sarvagananta Vibhu Vaikuntadi Dham, Krishna Krishna Avatarer Tai Vishram. That Vaikuntha region is all-pervading, infinite and supreme. It is the residence of Lord Krishna and his incarnations. So that Vaikuntha region which we studied yesterday, that beyond the material nature lies the realm known as Paravyam, the spiritual sky. And it just expands everywhere. It's just all-pervading. Tahara upari bhage Krishna loka khyati Dwarka Mathura Gokul Trividatve sthiti. In the highest region of that spiritual sky is a spiritual planet called Krishna Loka. It has three divisions, Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokul. Sarvopari Shri Gokul Vrajaloka Dham Shri Goloka Sveta Deepa Vrindavana Nam. Shri Gokul, the highest of all, is also called Braj, Golok, Shvetadweep, and Vrindavan. So why Shvetadweep? This Shvetadweep is actually part of Navdweep, nine islands in where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So the highest of all is a Shvetadweep. Sarvagananta Vibhu Krishna Tanusam Upari Adu Vyapyache Nahika Niyam. Like the transcendental body of Lord Krishna, Gokul is all-pervading, infinite and supreme. It expands both above and below without any restrictions. Wow, Gokul is infinite. That spiritual planet is infinite, and all of the spiritual planets are in the same category. So there cannot be any limit to spiritual planets. Srila Jiva Goswami, the great authority and philosopher in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, had discussed the abode of Krishna in his Krishna Sandarbha. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord refers to my abode. Srila Jiva Goswami, examining the nature of Krishna's abode, refers to the Skanda Puran, which states, Ya yatha bhuvi vartante puryo bhagavata priya tas tatha shanti vekunthe tat tal lilartham adrita. The abodes of Godhead in the material world, such as Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokul, are facsimals representing the abodes of Godhead in the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha Dham. The unlimited spiritual atmosphere of that Vaikuntha Dham is far above and beyond the material cosmos. This is confirmed in the Swayambhuva Tantra in a discussion between Lord Shiva and Parvati regarding the effect of chanting the mantra of 14 syllables. There it is stated, Nana kalpalata kiranam vaikuntham vyapatam smaret adha samyam gunanam cha prakriti sarvakaram. While chanting the mantra, one should always remember the spiritual world, which is very extensive and full of desire trees that can yield anything one desires. Below that Vaikuntha region is a potent material energy which causes the material manifestations. The places of the pastimes of Lord Krishna, such as Dwarka, Mathura, and Vrindavan, eternally and independently exist in Krishna Loka. They are the actual abodes of Lord Krishna, and there is no doubt that they are situated above the material cosmic manifestation. The abode known as Vrindavan or Gokul is also known as Goloka. The Brahma Samhita states that Gokul, the highest region of the kingdom of God, resembles a lotus flower with thousands of petals. So this is how the Gokul looks like or resembles. The outer portion of that lotus-like planet is a square place known as Shvetadvipa. In the inner portion of Gokul, there is an elaborate arrangement of Sri Krishna's residence with his eternal associates such as Nanda and Yashoda. That transcendental abode exists by the energy of Sri Baldev, who's the original whole of Shesha or Ananta. The Tantras also confirm this description by stating that the abode of Sri Anantadev, a plenary portion of Baldev, is called the kingdom of God. Vrindavan Dham is the innermost abode with the quadrangular realm of Shvetadvip, which lies outside the boundary of Gokul Vrindavan. So this, I know this description of Golok Vrindavan and with the petals, it's all actually explained in detail in Brahm Samhita. But it's very, very hard to understand. Until somebody can make a picture of it, it's very difficult to understand. Only thing I want to say here, it's like a lotus flower with thousands of petals. That's how Gokul is explained. And Gokul means the whole Braj. So it is also explained, like when Krishna has to go from Nandagaon to Yamuna, and now Yamuna ji is far away from Nandagaon to maybe the Vanshivat. That is in, I mean, if we look at today's Vrindavan geography, so Nandagaon is far from Vanshivat, which is on the other side of Vrindavan village. So it is said that when Krishna and all his associates, Gopas, Gopis, they have to go to the other place, the lotus petals, they come close. So on one lotus petal is Nandagaon, on the other lotus petal is Vanshivat, so they come close, they close up, so Krishna goes from one place to another and then they open up again. So everything there is to facilitate Krishna in his pastimes. Not just for Krishna, for his associates, for his servants, devotees. The dham behaves in that way. Just like it is also explained that Sanatana Goswami, about 500 years ago, the Giriraj Govardhan was bigger than what we see today. And also because at that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there, so Giriraj, out of ecstasy, he was even bigger. But Sanatana Goswami would every day, even in his old age, he would do parikrama of Giriraj every day. And at the same time, he would go to places, to villages for Madhukari, and he would write books, he would excavate places of pastimes of Krishna. So how was it possible? So it is there, for him also it is explained, the petals would come close, so he would do the parikrama in a shorter duration of time, just to facilitate his parikrama, and also his going from one village to another for Madhukari, and then come back and then write books or do other pastimes, to meet villagers. The dham would facilitate him. Now modern scientists will start thinking, oh, how the plates in the earth are moving and how is it possible, no earthquakes, no cracks. I mean, come on. Spiritual world is completely different. And this Vrindavan that we see is a replica of the original spiritual Golok Dham. So it behaves in the same way. We don't have the eyes and we are not that spiritually advanced to experience that. But this is how the scriptures explain. So we should have faith in the scriptures. According to Jiva Goswami, Vaikuntha is also called a Brahmaloka. The Narad Pancharatra, in a statement concerning the mystery of Vijay, describes Tatta Sarvopari Goloke Tatra Lokopari Swayam Vihareta Paramanandi Govindo Vatulukaya. The predominator of the gopis, Govinda, the principal deity of Gokul, always enjoys himself in a place called Goloka, in the topmost part of the spiritual sky. So many times these names, Gokul and Goloka, are interchanged. Of course, they both are spiritual, but generally on planet Earth, the Dham is called Gokul. And in the spiritual world, it's called Golok. Normally, but they are interchangeable. Acharyas use it interchangeably. From the authoritative evidence cited by Jiva Goswami, we may conclude that Krishna Loka is a supreme planet in the spiritual sky, which is far beyond the material cosmos. For the enjoyment of transcendental variety, the pastimes of Krishna there have three divisions. And these pastimes are performed in the three abodes, Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokul. When Krishna descends to this universe, he enjoys the pastimes in places of the same name. These places on earth are non-different from those original abodes, for they are facsimiles of those original holy places in the transcendental world. Or they're just original places, they're the same thing. They're as good as Shri Krishna himself and are equally worshipable. Lord Chaitanya declared that Lord Krishna, who presents himself as the son of the king of Braj, is worshipable, and that Vrindavan Dham is equally worshipable. So this is how we should approach Vrindavan whenever we go there. Of course, when we go, we see traffic and so many people, so many cars on the weekend, and this and that, or go to Loi Bazaar to get some items for our deities, or to enjoy some tikki and lassi and this and that. But this should not be the mood. The place, Vrindavan, is non-different. It's the same Dham has appeared here to serve Krishna in his pastimes. So how we should approach the Dham and the Dham Vasis, we got to be very, very careful. Similarly, other abodes like Dwarka or Jagannath Puri, Ayodhya, Rameshwaram, other places, Ayodhya, Badrinath, Kedarnath, we should approach them in very, very reverential mode. It's sad to see people go to Haridwar and Rishikesh, and especially Rishikesh, and they go to Mother Ganges and they do this rafting, white water rafting, the boats. Mother Ganga is not for us to play on. But okay, ordinary people go because they don't know the glories of Ganges. It's okay, at least they're getting some association. But devotees, when they go and start doing that, it doesn't make sense. Brahmande prakashtar, Krishne chai, eka swarupatar, nahi doi kai. That abode is manifested within the material world by the will of Lord Krishna. It is identical to that original Gokul. They're not two different bodies. The above mentioned dhams are movable by the omnipotent will of Lord Krishna, because Everything, every person is conscious. Everything is conscious in spiritual world. When Shri Krishna appears on the face of the earth, he can also make his dhams appear without changing the original structure. One should not discriminate between the dhams on the earth and those in the spiritual sky, thinking those on earth to be material and original abodes to be spiritual. All of them are spiritual. Only for us who cannot experience anything beyond matter in our present conditioned state do the dhams and the Lord himself in his archa form appear before us resembling matter to give us a facility to see spirit with material eyes. So only for us who cannot experience anything beyond matter. This is for our benefit, to give us some mercy. Do the dhams and the Lord himself in his archa form. So archa vigraha is non-different from the Lord, but he comes in the form of either wood or metal or stone or pictorial form to give us his mercy. Appear before us resembling matter to give us the facility to see spirit with material eyes. In the beginning, this may be difficult for a neophyte to understand, but in due course, when one is advanced in devotion service, it will be easier, and he will appreciate the Lord's presence in these tangible forms. When one is advanced in devotional service, then we can, but slowly, we come in contact with all these and we should make progress. That's the whole idea. But at the same time, as Nectar of Devotion states, there are also chances of committing offenses against the deities, against Dham, against the devotees. Then that's a problem. So we got to be very, very careful. Chintamani bhumi kalpa vriksha mayatvan charma chakshe dekhe tare prapanche rasam. The land there is touchstone, Chintamani, and the forests abound with desired trees. Material eyes see it as an ordinary place. The forests are abound with desired trees. In fact, every tree in Vrindavan is a desired tree. Or there are also some places, it's also there are many sadhus who are doing their tapasya in the form of those trees. So again, we got to be careful. The land there is touchstone, Chintamani. And Chintamani, touchstone, we know we touch that stone with any iron and it becomes gold. But we can say, well, we got some dust or some rocks from Vrindavan and we are touching with iron. It's not turning into gold. But we don't have that eye. That's a problem. We're not that advanced yet. And those who are advanced, they don't need all this gold. They just need Braj Raj or dust of the lotus feet of Radha Krishna. By the grace of the Lord, his dhams and he himself can all be present simultaneously without losing their original importance. Only when one fully develops in affection and love of Godhead can one see those dhams in their original appearance. Srila Narottam Das Thakur, a great acharya in the preceptorial line of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has said, for our benefit, that one can perfectly see the dhams only when one completely gives up the mentality of lording it over material nature. So then and then only we can perfectly see Dham. One's spiritual vision develops proportionately to one's giving up the debased mentality of unnecessarily enjoying matter. A diseased person who has become diseased because of a certain bad habit must be ready to follow the advice of the physician. And as a natural consequence, he must attempt to give up the cause of the disease. The patient cannot indulge in the bad habit and at the same time expect to be cured by the physician. Modern materialistic civilization, however, is maintaining a diseased atmosphere. The living being is a spiritual spark, as spiritual as the Lord Himself. The only difference is that the Lord is great and the living being is small. Qualitatively, they are one, but quantitatively, they are different. Therefore, since the living being is spiritual in constitution, he can be happy only in the spiritual sky, where there are unlimited spiritual spheres called Vaikunthas. A spiritual being conditioned by a material body must therefore try to get rid of his disease instead of developing the cause of the disease. So our disease is we want to enjoy material world. All the material desires are there in the heart. And as long as those desires are there and as long as we have the desire to enjoy the material world, we cannot see, we cannot make spiritual progress. So it's up to us. And here we are trying to enjoy this material world where there is no enjoyment. It is a place of misery. And we are suffering. We have to suffer. And that place is made of Chintamanita. Every tree is a desire tree. We can get anything. Golok Vrindavan is much more opulent than Vaikuntha, where all the Lakshmis reside. And we are stuck with it is not even of any significance, this material world. We are stuck in. And we think this is the best thing I got. I don't want to get out of it. This is a disease. And this is what Prabhupada says. Spiritual being conditioned by a material body. We all have this, but the spiritual being, living entity is spiritual, must therefore try to get rid of his disease instead of developing the cause of the disease. Foolish persons engrossed in the material assets are unnecessarily proud of being leaders of the people, but they ignore the spiritual value of men. Such illusioned leaders make plans covering any number of years, but they can hardly make humanity happy in a state conditioned by the threefold miseries inflicted by material nature. Everybody, all the political leaders, they get votes, or in other countries, there is no democracy. They say, we'll make you happy, we'll have some policies and some plans and the laws, and they'll make you happy. But in the end, nobody can make the public happy. How can we be happy in a place which Krishna has designed us to give us misery? Because we are so ignorant. We are so ignorant. And that's why we elect or select leaders who are not spiritually advanced. So some or other get the power and they say, okay, we will make you happy. We'll make you strong. Make America great again. What happened to it? And other countries also, same thing. Nobody talks about spirituality. Nobody wants to make us spiritually advanced. So we understand, we know what is real happiness. One cannot control the laws of nature by any amount of struggling. One must at last be subject to death, nature's ultimate law. Death, birth, old age, and illness are symptoms of the diseased condition of the living being. The highest aim of human life should therefore be to get free from these miseries and go back home, back to God. And that is why Krishna comes, his Dham comes, he comes in Archa Vigraha form, he sends his representatives, sadhus, gurus, he gives us books, he comes in different forms as Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he establishes religion so that we can follow it. But we don't want to follow. We want to follow Manodharma. Whatever my mind says, I'll follow that. But we cannot make progress by doing Manodharma. Very difficult. People just are not ready to understand all this. So anyway, this is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with Nityananda Prabhu to give us the mercy that we definitely need. And we'll study further how they gave us the mercy. So we'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.